What is up, guys? It's 10VivMan here again, bringing you another battle. This is a UU match I had of a friend off of my Facebook page, and boy, oh boy, this was a crazy, crazy game. I mean, oh my goodness. You can see he's got a lot of good threats here. He's got Ambipom. There's the supporting tank and Registeel. He's got Victini and Shaman like I do, and then he's got a nasty little Zoroark in there. So I don't know when that's gonna come out. So I just got my standard UU team, and it's a great UU team, but I really, it was a pretty interesting battle. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway, and actually quickly review the teams. He could lead with Registeel, he could lead with Zoroark or Victini just to scout, but I kind of predicted the Ambipom to lead, so I actually make a really good play, and I actually do end up leading with my Sableye. So let's get this battle started. And as I said, I leave my Sableye as I do predict him correctly, and as he goes into his Ambipom. So I really don't know what to expect. Probably the most likely a fake out, but he actually makes a good play. As I try to go for the Will-O-Wisp with my Prankster ability, he goes into his Victini to take that with ease because he's fire type, so he's immune to it. And now, of course, I want to switch out here, but he actually pulls a double switch and goes into his Registeel. So I'm like, I don't even know what he was going to switch into. I was hoping like maybe he'd do something else and maybe stay in a Ambipom, but I go into my Hitmontop, my defensive Hitmontop, and he blocks the Intimidate with no problem. He T-Waves me on the switch, and which is fine. I don't mind Hitmontop being paralyzed. I'd rather be paralyzed than poisoned or burned, so that's perfectly fine with me. And I now just switch out and I go into my Nidoking, because I can pretty much resist whatever he throws at me with pretty much good ease, as he sets up the Stealth Rocks in this turn. He now switches out during the Earth Power and goes into his Zapdos. And of course, I'm gonna, I didn't want to overpredict at this point just because, and I go for Earth Power, it fails because he flies. So he overpredicts me to switch here and goes for the Thunderbolt, which kind of cost him, as I go for my modest Life Orb boosted, Sheer Force boosted Ice Beam, and that is nearly it's a clean to a KO. And seeing leftovers, I presume this was a defensive Zapdos. So, and he shows it even more by going for the Roost. And so he restores, half of his health, and he gets a lot of that health back. And unfortunately, I go again for the Ice Beam. And thanks to Roost, he loses his Flying type. So my Ice Beam is only going to inflict neutral damage on it. Puts into a, just under half health. And he actually, I kind of predicted him here. And I didn't know if he was going to Roost here or not, but he actually does end up going for the Roost. And I took a really risky play here, but he Roosts just to kind of greedily just to get back to full health. I actually predict that, and I go for the Earth Power because he Roosted, ground attacks become effective on it, and it's super effective because he's an electric type. So I see you go seeing down, and it lives a Sliver, and that, oh my gosh, that just drove me crazy because just so little HP. So he makes a good play, withdraws here. I send out my Stealth Rocks up. He goes into his Registeel, sort of his death fodder, just because he's got to sacrifice something against my Nidoking's Rampage. So I'm going to go for that Stab Earth Power. And of course, all my moves here are Sheer Force boosted, which is great. And it does well over half the Registeel. It gets a rather useless leftovers recovery. And just in case you wanted to switch out, I switched up my moves, went for the Flamethrower, and down goes Registeel. So, I'm in a pretty decent shape right here as he goes right into his Ambipom. And of course, from this thing, I'm predicting maybe a fake out. So I go switch out and go into my Hitmontop instead of my Sableye, just because I wanted this thing dead. And I wanted to, lower its attack to hopefully, so it won't do much of fake out instead of just going into Sableye and having to repeat the first couple turns. But he uses fake out and he gets a crit. So that kind of did not go in my favor, but, it's whatever. Crits happen. And I get some leftovers recovery, and he U-turns on this turn. So just, not wanting to take a close combat, just wanting to deal some damage to me. So gets the U-turn off, and he switches out into a Zapdos again. So he has a free chance to potentially Roost. If I had used close combat here, he probably would have been dead, but I get the full para. I was actually going for Rapid Spin there, which sucks. So he's got a free opportunity to Roost, and of course, knowing that he's going to want to Roost, I'm going to take this opportunity to again attempt a Rapid Spin because my team is kind of weak to Rapid Spin, or not Rapid Spin, you get what I mean, Stealth Rock. And of course, my power hitter Victini is weak to Stealth Rock. So I want to get those Stealth Rocks out of the field. I use Rapid Spin, and there they go. Get a rather useless crit, because Rapid Spin's such a weak attack, so... But he continues getting that Leftovers recovery, and I'm really fearing this Zapdos. I really don't know what I'm going to do to it, so what I can really do to it. I figure at this point Nidoking's my best counter to it, because I think it's a defensive, but of course he predicts my switch to Nidoking here. It goes for the Heat Wave, and it just does under half, and you know, I'm predicting his last move to be like Substitute or something, so you know, I see the Leftovers and such, but no, he has the Hidden Power Ice, so I'm like, oh, crap, there goes my Nidoking, my power hitter, so down it goes, and there's not much I can do about it now, so I've got to come up with a plan and fast, because this Zapdos can pretty much tear for me rather easily if I don't, you know, make the right play. So I go into my Victini here, hoping to do as much damage as possible, but my super strong V-Create. And of course I go first thanks to myself being Scarfed, and boom, and I see the HP bar dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and it lives, and I'm like, this Zapdos, it's going to really piss me off, and he uses Thunderbolt, and my -1 special defense, I don't expect this to take this well, but I know I can live at least 1 thanks to its normal natural bulk, so I live with 104, and, you know, I get some more Leftovers recovery, and just because I'm Adamant Scarf, I didn't expect to be faster than it, so I did predict him to Roost. And luckily for me, this Roost does not recover quite as much as we're to the point he was last time, which means his V-Create will actually take him out at this turn. And he was banking on the fact he'd probably live the next one, but he's just at that point where V-Create would knock it out. And it does, so I don't know if it was a min-max damage thing, but I was pretty sure that, you know, it was just because of that little sliver that mattered in the end. So he goes again to his Ambipom. And this thing's really starting to bug me, so I switch out and go into my Sableye, you know, predicting the Fake Out again, just because, or, you know, it can do whatever. But he actually goes for Focus Blast, and I'm like, what? Focus Blast and an Ambipom? So, it's like, whatever. So, but he goes and switches out to Victini. I predict that, and I try to go into the best thing that could probably do anything against it, which is my Empoleon. And, you know, I know they carry Fusion Bolt, but I wanted Empoleon to get those Stealth Rocks up. And don't mind me moving here, but I gotta move because I'm uncomfortable. So, but the Fusion Bolt does a pretty good chunk to me, and you go for the Stealth Rocks just to get them up, because I really need those up with him switching everywhere, so, you know, I get some Leftovers recovery, and switch out, and I believe I go into Shaman here. Yes, I do. Just to, you know, he's probably Scarfed like mine is, and he, again, of course, goes for Fusion Bolt, knowing that I resist that, so I'm going to take that pretty well, you know, not too bad at all. And I predict him to switch, and I try to Leech Seed whatever comes in, and he goes back into his Ambipom. I should have probably predicted the switch just a Seed Flare to hopefully take this out, but I didn't. So I just get the Leech Seed up, and that's nice. So, yeah, but, I mean, I could have gone for the switch out to Sableye again, but it would have just been very redundant. I'd put myself in the same situation over and over again. So I didn't want to switch out, and I just wanted to, you know, hopefully Shaman to you know, kill it. And I just, you know, that's how I wanted it to be. But unfortunately, he reveals me as U-turn, and I should have seen that coming. But alas, I did not, and that U-turn nearly kills me. So, but he's able to switch out here. I was hoping he'd switch out to his Victini here. That's what my whole point is. And here he brings in his own Shaman. But unfortunately, of course, I go for Earth Power. You know, I was predicting the Victini to come in, so I hit Earth Power the Shaman. Does virtually nothing just because of Shaman's good natural bulk. Receives some Life Orb recoil. And, you know, Shaman's pretty much Death Otter at this point. So I just go for the HP Ice just to deal with whatever damage I can. That was a fairly decent chunk, and he just, you know, I'm left with 8 HP thanks to my Life Orb recoil, so he just KOs me with Earth Power, just in case I wanted to switch out to anything. Scrum gives good coverage on most of my team, so, down goes my Shaman, and as I go again, go into my Victini, and of course, Victini is going to Wreck House, and I go for the V-Create and obliterate the Shaman. I could have gone for the U-turn here, but I didn't want to I didn't want him to have switch advantage. So, and, you know, I doubted he would have switched, because Shaman's kind of Death Otter for him at this point, just because, you know, not much of his team can really, you know, Shaman can't really counter a lot of the stuff on my team, so, but he goes back into his Ambipom here after Shaman dies, and of course, from this range, Fake Out will kill me at that range, so I've got to switch out to Sableye to take the Fake Out of no problem, and he's going to die to Stealth Rock regardless. What I could have done instead of burning him was I could have, you know, let him use U-turn on me, and then I could have night shoot whatever came in. But I didn't, and I just didn't want to take as much damage from U-turn as I wanted to. So that's why I went for that. And I should have predicted right then and there, based on that Stealth Rock damage, that is not Victini. That is Zoroark, but I did not see that coming. So it's Zoroark, and it hits me of Night Daze, and I'm like, argh. I look at the HP bar right after, and I'm like, that's Zoroark. Well, shoot. So I just, you know, I was banking on V-Create one kill me just thanks to my defensive investment. Go for the Nightshade. Of course, breaks his illusion. And Sableye is in a tight situation here. I really don't know what to do, and I could continually recover while banking on this, but that would have gone too redundant. So I just switch it to my Empoleon, because I know I can take a hit, maybe two. And he goes for Night Daze, of course, and I take that really well. But he gets another accuracy drop, so I'm like, erg. And, you know, he could Focus Blast here. If he has Flamethrower, he could have probably killed me from that, but I don't know if he predicted me to switch again or what. But that second Night Daze does not kill me. I go for the Scald, and I miss. So that's just great. So my Empoleon's pretty much death fodder at this point. I really have no point in keeping it alive. They got its job done, and take it the Stealth Rock, so I graciously let Empoleon die here. So down it goes, and back out to my main powerhouse, my Victini. And, you know, he could switch here. He could switch into his own Victini to, you know, take it, but he didn't really want to take it. So nothing really wants to take a V-Create unless you're super physically defensive or resistant, but of course Zoroark isn't going to take it to save its life, so down it goes. And the only Pokemon he has left, there's only two he has left. He has his own Victini and then his Ambipom, which will die upon switch-in. So the Victini comes in, takes a pretty hefty chunk from Stealth Rock. I go into my Hitmontop here, hopefully, you know, just to lower his attack and hopefully resist maybe a V-Create or something. But he surprises me again and actually goes for U-turn here. I don't know why, just maybe predicted my Hitmontop to come out so it could nullify the attack drop. So, which was a pretty good play if he did predict that. So, goes into his Ambipom, just dies from the Stealth Rocks. So, as I get leftovers recovery, and of course he goes into his last, which is his Victini. I have my Hitmontop, I have my Sableye, and my own Victini left, as that Victini takes a good chunk from Stealth Rock. I switch out, and I go into my Sableye as Death Fodder, because I want that attack drop with Hitmontop, you know, just so my team stands a better chance. He locks himself into V-Create here, figuring it's probably the best move he could lock himself into, and knocks out my Sableye, of course, no problem. So down it goes, and I go into my Hitmontop. You know, I'm thinking from this range a Sucker Punch would kill, and it lower his attack. And I figured my Hitmontop could probably live a hit just because of my defensive investment. I'm max defense, max HP, and I have an Intimidate on it. But Sucker Punch does not kill, even at -1, just because again his Victini has, you know, Victini has just great but natural defense, and he hits me a V-Create, and I was hoping you can live this, you can live this, you can live this. I can't. So. Down goes my Hitmontop, and just because Victini just has that raw power of its V-Create, so I go into my last, which is in return V-Create, or a Victini, and I finish that off with a very powerful Fusion Bolt. So guys, that will be the game. My rapid spin of Hitmontop was key. If I did not rapid spin, I probably would have lost this game. So it was a great game, and you know, I don't get a lot of good Yu-Yu matches, and that was probably one of the best ones I've had. So if you guys liked, feel free to like, comment, and sub, guys. So hope you guys had a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.